So we're on new water right here. I'm looking at my Lake Master chip and it just shows blue for water. There's no contour lines. Love it. Probably why there's nobody here. No map of this lake that I know of. It's just like a giant pond. Hey, and we get to figure it out all today. Very excited. Okay, so we're at this new lake, never been to. It looks beautiful. The water is really clear. I pulled up on this bank. I assume they're probably up there spawning. There's probably some that aren't spawning just off, but I bet they're shallow because the water is clear and there's not a lot of cover offshore. So I think they're gonna be really shallow. And if they are up there spawning, I'm gonna throw this prop jerk on them. You know, it's almost like it's a jerk bait, but it's a topwater. It does it all. Give it a jerk and it makes a splash with the prop spins, and then it'll float right back up, sits there, and the prop's still moving a little bit, giving a little bit of action. It's deadly at times, and I think today may be one of those times. Let's see. Oh! First How awesome is that? Did you see that fish come up there and bite that? Look at that. Whoa, wow, how about the prop jerk? He ate that thing too. Topwater fishing in the spring. That's awesome. Come here, baby. Nice little chunk. Wearing that prop jerk all over him. Man, how cool is that? One of the things when the fish are up shallow, you can keep it in the strike zone for a long time. That's what, you know, it's just another kind of a topwater, but it dives too, drives them crazy, and they can't stand it. Number one. Sweet. See how I can keep that thing right in that little hole in the grass, little pocket? And it does more than a regular topwater. You know, it dives and does a little, just enough to really make them mad. So I've had that bait in the strike zone now, you know what I mean, for 5 or 10 seconds. That's what it takes. Drive them to where they'll come up and blow up on it like that first one did. Topwater strike, love it. So this is really target fishing. You can cover a lot of water, but here I can see all the little clumps of grass and little pockets. So you can throw it out in, you know, more open and catch them as well. But it's almost like in the springtime, and it really doesn't matter what you're throwing, but it's almost like you're flipping or pitching. I mean, you've got targets, and that's where this bait really shines, is it stays in that strike zone near that target. You can keep it in there for a while until the fish just can't stand it and they just have to go. Like, look at how hard that sucker's shaking his head. Man. That flash minnow wake, look at that. Starting to get aggressive. Man, that's a nice fish, huh? Yeah, baby. Come on. Man, what a chunk. That caught me by surprise. Come on, one more time. That caught me by surprise. Oh! Smoked that flash minnow wake. Been waking it, and I've been just doing the slow jerk in it. Like I said, it just walks the dog just under the surface. And man, when they get have had enough of it. They hit it 100 miles. That's what this one did. It hit 100 miles an hour, just hammer it. So again, around this spawn, a couple Lucky Craft jerk baits that float and wake, and that's the prop jerk and the flash minnow wake. And this was on a flash minnow wake. That's a good fish. Look how chunky that guy is, man. Awesome. Pretty sure it's a male too. That's a big male. He got all lit up, the coloration on his pec fins here. That's, what are those? Those are the caudal fins. I don't remember what they're called. They're fins. Fish fins. So I think that was a big male. I hit it off a bit. I've been seeing a big female swimming around, and just for a second I thought I had that big female. Well, here it's springtime. It's finally warmed up. The fish are moving shallow, and a lot of them are spawning. A lot of fish are shallow. Probably some pre-spawn are still coming in, but we are in the heat of the spawn. There's some big fish up. I've seen a couple big fish swimming around. So we are using some Lucky Craft jerk baits that are specialized in this situation. This is the Lucky Craft Flash Minnow Wake and the prop jerk. Prop jerk is prop jerk because it has a prop on the back. Nice little deal. So the difference in these two baits is this. This is more of a wake bait, the Flash Minnow Wake. You can reel it real slow and it'll just wobble right on the surface. I mean, really, really, really slow. Or you can give it a couple jerks every now and then and let it float back up and pause, just like a floating jerk bait instead of a suspending jerk bait. This allows you to work it really shallow, you know, a foot or less even of water, or out even in deeper water if you have grass maybe coming up or stumps into, you know, within a foot or two of the surface. You're going over the top of it and you're triggering strikes from these fish that are up there spawning, guarding fry, or coming into spawn and are hungry. The prop jerk is as close as you can get to being a hybrid between, I guess, a topwater and jerk bait that you can find. So it has this prop tail right here, makes a nice little splash when you give it a twitch, and it has a pretty good sized bill on it, bigger than this Flash Minnow Wake actually. And it gives a really good jerk down and it kicks that tail up and makes a really nice splash, little sputtering noise on the top, and it's really buoyant. And this specializes in you can keep it in the strike zone for a long time. What I mean by that is a target, which is either a bed, a big white spot, a corner of a dock, or maybe a clump of grass, or maybe an isolated stump, or maybe a little hole in between two bushes, a couple lily pads sitting by themselves that you're pretty sure there's a bass there. You can give it a nice twitch and it makes a good noise and kicks down and makes a lot of flash, floats right back up and sits right in their face. And you can leave it there and let it float back up, fish it like you would a topwater, but it has that subsurface, just different action. Looks like something there is just trying to pester them, and they can't stand it. And you can, like I said, you can leave it in the strike zone for an extended period of time. I mean, you can work it real slow, but make it move a lot because it floats right back up to where it was. So that's our 1-2 punch we're using today. Kind of covering the water a little bit more with the Flash Minnow Wake. Slow reeling it across the surface or giving it 3 or 4, you know, 1 to 4 twitches. It does a real good walk in the dog action under the water. A little more pause between jerks than maybe you'd normally use, like a good, you know, 1,001 count, and it does this really cool hitch action every time you give it a jerk. And you can stop it and it flows right back up the surface. That's when a lot of your strikes occur. It's visual. Keep your eye on these baits at all times because you'll see the fish come get them, or you might even see them flash on it and you know you got one after it. Leave it in there, give it a couple twitches, just let it sit right on the surface, and that drives them crazy sometimes. They're both similar in that way. Cover the water a little bit better with this one, the Flash Minnow Wake. And if you're target fishing, you know there's some fish there. This, like I said, it's a topwater that kind of gets down a little bit, and it's something the fish don't see hardly ever, and it is deadly when they're on the bed. So that's what we're doing today. Had some nice strikes. Plan on getting some more, and hoping to get a really big one today, but we've caught some nice fish already, but pretty excited. Springtime. Great time to fish. Ooh, did you see that? Yeah, that was a big one. just swiped at it. That was a, come up and creamed it, didn't even touch it. Typical spawning behavior. I couldn't stand. Let's try to get that one. That's a, sure enough. Got him. Oh, got another one on the. Nice. Come here, little guy. Couldn't stand the prop jerk. I just twitching it along and the little spinner blade's going, and he mauled that thing. Man, that's cool. If you watch this thing in the water, it'll hitch along real good, and that little blade keeps on spinning. And then you can let it stop and twitch on the surface, but I was just kind of keeping it moving and giving it just enough jerks to just make it just kind of do that little, it's like walking the dog with the topwater, but just subsurface, and they're around the springtime spawn. That's deadly. Let's see if there's another one in there. So I've come out here a little bit deeper and I've seen some really deep beds out here. I've actually seen some really good fish on a couple of them just move off. And they're in about four feet or deeper. And I haven't, it's just, I know it's kind of early in the day. I don't think they're that aggressive. I hadn't had them come up and hit the prop jerk yet. Tried, so I'm throwing the flash bin awake. And I've waked it across them a couple times, but I can jerk this down. It'll get down, I don't know, 2 feet or so. If you, a foot and a half, 2 feet, and it'll get in their face a little bit more, and then you stop it and let it float right back up. Sometimes that drives them nuts. So I'm just gets the different look, and I can cover faster because I know where some of these light spots are, but you can really only see them when you get right on top of them. So I'm just fan casting through this spawning flat, and that's a great thing to do in the spawn. If you got an area, you know, there's a lot of beds. Be stationary. If you have power poles, put your power poles down. If you have an anchor, put your anchor down. If you have some spot lock, just sit in one place and methodically go through. And when they get to firing, they'll let you know what happens. So. Oh, I just missed it. There, I got one. Did you see that? I couldn't stand that. Oh. Oh, there's a big one. I see it. Oh, there he goes. Got him. Got him. Kiddo got it right off the top. That was awesome. That was a different one. There's a whole bunch. Come on, buddy. Stunned him. That was cool. There's a bigger one over there. And I saw this. I didn't see this one. He just came up from the side. I saw him eat it. Out of nowhere, I saw him come up and just suck it down. That was awesome. On the prop jerk. Topwater in the spawn. And it's just a subtle bite. They just come down. A lot of them, some of them will really smash it, but a lot of them just kind of suck it down. But anyway, let's see if the other one's a good one. It's a big one. Whoa! I saw him run up there. It was so cool. That's awesome. Heck yeah, the clear water. Man, you don't ever know. You throw it up there and you twitch, and all of a sudden you see them. They hit it going 100 miles an hour. So cool. Come here, buddy. On the prop jerk. There. Ah. Another nice one. Woo! Look at what a chunk. Hit that thing on a dead run. That was awesome. Like I said, it gets in their way and they gotta just kill it. How awesome is that? So that was on just the inside, just a hole up there where, there might have been a bed or whatever. I just saw a little hole in this grass. Send it up there, give it a couple twitches and float right on top, and that little tail was moving in these little ripples. It keeps it moving, so it's always active. That fish hit it going 100 miles an hour, couldn't smoke it. So cool, awesome strike. Nice fish too. Thank you, buddy. One of the baits I'm throwing today is the prop jerk. It's a floating, very shallow diving jerk bait that kind of is, it's like I said, it's a hybrid jerk bait topwater. It has a prop on the tail, that's the name prop jerk, and that adds a lot of action. It works really great when the fish are up shallow, pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, anytime they're chasing bait up shallow and you need a different look. Like I said, it's got the great jerk bait action. It'll kind of almost walk the dog under the water and then float back up. The prop tail is always spinning, especially if you get in a windy situation. There's a little wind rippling. The prop's always moving, gives a little bit of flash and action, tricks the bass, think it's a live, stunned bait fish or brim or whatever you're fishing, whatever they're feeding on. And this is the bone shad. I'm throwing this today. It's a little bit cloudy. Sun's not real bright at all. And another color we have is the BP Golden Shiner. This is more of a chrome, shiny one, and I'd probably throw this a lot more when the sun's out. It gives off more flash when you have the sun. When you have lower light conditions or cloudy conditions, typically a more solid bone. We all know bone is just one of the great topwater colors. It's got a bone belly and a bone back, a little bit of chrome on the side, so it has about everything, but those are a couple of the great colors. So I'm throwing this, and this is the Flash Minnow Wake. Throwing this on a 7-foot medium action rod with 15-pound mono. Somebody get it. Oh! You see that? It came out and blew up on top. That was awesome. Hope y'all heard that. Hope the sound came. That was cool. Boom! Yeah, you like that. Twist it down, let it float up to the top. It was sitting there and just like a topwater strike in the spawn. That's awesome. Man, that was cool. Does he want that or what? Flash Minnow Wake. It's a great bait. Big fish can't stand, they gotta come up and they gotta kill it. So, yes, this is the one too. So a little bit deeper if I can't get them to come up on the prop jerk. And like I said, that is super shallow. This Flash Minnow Wake works as well, super shallow, but it dives a little bit deeper and you can make it kind of walk and then let it float up in this clear water. Clear water is better for a jerk, but you need to have at least some visibility because they got to see it. But they will come up and get this thing, and it's just a different action. Doesn't have the prop tail, has more of a jerk bait action, and you can actually get a kind of a good cadence with it walking the dog under the surface. Maybe a 1, 2, 3, and then let it float up. And let it sit there right on top, and that's when that fish just hit that. I'd stopped it, floated back up, and as soon as it hit the top, boom! The other thing with the Flash Minnow Wake, it's you can fish it faster than the prop jerk. The prop jerk is, they're both very target oriented when you see, isolated anything to throw at, but this is it's better just at kind of covering open water in between, precise targets when you go, hey man, I know there's gotta be one there. That's when you get the prop jerk and throw it in there and let it do its work. And then in between, just covering water, this is the bomb. Another one on the wake. Little guy. Sun's come out a little bit now. It's BP Golden Shiner color. A little more flashy. I'm throwing both the prop jerk and the Flash Minnow Wake on 7-foot medium action rods. They're jerk baits. You don't want to overpower them. They don't weigh a lot, so about a medium action is a really good weight for them. I'm throwing this wake on 12-pound fluorocarbon line. It's really buoyant, but it also, I'm using it faster and waking it, so I'm not letting it sit there as long on top water as I do the prop jerk. The prop jerk, I'm throwing 15-pound monofilament line because I don't want the line to drag it down, especially if I'm fishing it really, really, really shallow. So that's the only difference. You could fish them both on mono, but I like fluorocarbon. I think you get a few more bites. This is 12-pound line, but the prop jerk, I think you definitely probably should use a monofilament on that, just like you would on a topwater. Got in that cast. Oh yeah. On the prop jerk, he couldn't stand that. That was awesome. Come on, do one more jump. Let's go. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Well, this has been a fun day out here. It's always fun to get to fish a new lake. Never been to, go around, fish. It's all new. And catch fish springtime and catching them shallow is awesome. It's hard to beat that. Lots of fun. Prop jerk, the flash minnow wake, all fishing less than 2 feet of water and getting to see about every strike. That's about as fun as it gets. We've had a shot at a couple big ones when we've missed them too, but we've caught some really nice fish. It's been a great day. The Lucky Craft prop jerk and the flash minnow wake are two awesome baits, and they're always in my boat in the springtime.